everybody, Greg W. Anderson with Awaken the King. Now, one of the things about my past life is I was a corporate consultant. I built a program called Jumping the Gap. Now, Jumping the Gap eventually evolved into Awaken the King. But while I was doing that, I put together a lot of great content. I'd love to give all of that information to you now for free, so please enjoy. Hey everybody, this is Greg W. Anderson, the architect and creator of the Jumping the Gap program. Now, I'm incredibly thankful that you've actually opted in to get a little bit more information about what it is that we actually do in the Jumping the Gap program. Now, before I start, I want to set a little bit of framework because this is where most of the clients, most of the people that work with me, where they're coming from. Now, it's one of two different positions. One is they're really starting to create this online empire. They're making some money, they've made some mistakes, probably got kicked in the teeth a few times, and they just don't know how to navigate the minefields correctly. They know that there's a solution, there's possibilities, they see other people doing it, but they're really not sure where to go. And the other guys, you're just in trouble right now. You're 3 months away from bankruptcy. That doesn't mean that you don't feel flush with cash, but you definitely know that if you miss one media bill or something else isn't going to change, it's going down. It happens all the time. In fact, it happened to me more than once. So all of this whole program has been created to help jump that gap so that we don't have those problems anymore, so that you don't have those problems anymore. Now, through this system, we're kind of looking at this. We've got 5 different P's, or the 5 P's of what the Jumping the Gap program is. And the reason that we take these steps and we look at every single aspect of your business is to end up over here. It's the graduation. It's the mastery. It's that I've taken a look at my entire business and I know I've done everything in my power to take care of my family, to take care of my employees, to make sure that I'm in a position of power over here where I'm not wondering, what is it that I'm missing? I have a better lifestyle. I can take my laptop, hop a plane, hit the Bahamas, hang out with the family, hang out with the girlfriend, hang out with the supermodel you just met. I don't know you, I don't know your situation. But that's kind of the end game in mind, is without making sure that we have all of the steps, all of the processes covered, then we have uncertainty. We have problems. We have all of those things that in the past has caused us to lose money, lose sleep, lose focus, hope, reality. I don't know what it is for you, but for me, it was all of the above. So in this whole program, what we're going to start with right now is how do we get through all of that? How do we navigate? And how do we jump the gap from I'm sitting on this side and I'm on the edge of a cliff and I can see the successful people, they're sitting all the way over here. And how did they get here in 2 months? I have no idea. That's what the program is for. It's to help us get from over there to over here without falling through all of the ebbs and flows that happen in business. Because any one of these minefields could kill us. So let's go ahead and start. Let's start with process or step number 1. Oh, sometimes there's just problems, people. Okay, cool. Promotion. So when I talk about promotion, I'm talking about how and why are you getting your clients? Who are they? What information are you providing? Now, traditional business sense, when you sit down and you say, who was your client, you're probably going to rattle off some statistics. And let me tell you about a story of one of my clients that had done that. We sat down. She's a pretty successful woman. Sat down, we're physically in my office. She's laying out her whole program, her whole blueprint for what she's doing. And what she's needing is more low-end ticket clients. For somebody to sell something online, you're going to understand that maybe there's a $50 product or a $90 product. Well, in reality, what I'm selling is a $10,000 product over here because that's my coaching, that's my big ticket item, whatever that is. If it's any kind of digital education, that's how it's going to work. So she sat down and I asked her this question. I let her ramble and roll off about how successful she is and how happy she was until I asked her a question, which is, how do I get more low-end clients? How do I get more people to hear what I have to say and to start consuming my products? So I asked her, who's your client? She starts telling me, well, the average person makes this much money. They're this old. They are man, female, whatever that is. She starts rambling and rambling. I said, stop. You need to understand right now, you actually have no idea who your current client is. And she kind of got mad at me. I thought for a minute she was going to pop me across the desk. Till I stopped and I explained one thing to her, and that's this. She's in an online space. She's selling an online product.
I really don't care if the person's 50 or 20. What I care about is that they're a type of person that's an impulse buyer that will pull out that credit card right then, fill out the information and buy something without ever meeting me. Now the other spectrum is somebody who's analytical, that takes more time, that goes through this process. But who do you think the person that buys fastest is? And all of a sudden the light kind of clicked on. And we sat down and we looked through all of our copy, which is part of promotion. How do we attach to that person? How do we go through this first P? So we start going through this process with her. And I look and she's got this ad copy that's like 65,000 lines long. And in her mind, she's overcoming every objective, which is what we've all been taught to do. The problem was, she's drowning out everybody that has ADD, because we all know this. We all know that if it takes too long, I'm just not gonna fill it out. I'm not even gonna go to the next section. I'm already bored. So we cut 65% of our copy. What do you think happens? We increase conversions by 24% on the front end, 21% on the back end, because we have more clients. So the answer through her promotion, and that's for her business, just happened to be that she was trying to overwhelm the impulse buyer. Now, we don't get rid of the other person. We give them more information and give them time to buy. They opted in. I have an email. I can supply them all the data that they want. But the main goal was to get somebody to buy right then. So why would we overwhelm that person? Let's stick, that's the main client. The other person will come on a little bit later. So let's check this out. Step number 2. We've already hit promotion. Let's see if I can get this whiteboard fairly clean. Platform. Now, platform just happens to be the single most unrated, unpaid attention to item in your business. Now, what I'm talking about here is your servers, the type of architecture that you're on, your CRMs, the way you collect money and get paid. Now online, this is gonna be through credit cards. So what kind of merchant accounts do you have? What kind of merchant management do you have? What kind of components are a part of that? How do you do refunds? Now, this is one of my favorite stories to pick, because I get to pick on one of my really good friends, Garrett J. White. 3 or 4 years ago, we're sitting down, we start talking about business. And he's telling me about all of the high-end coaching clients that he has. And he's going on and he's explaining this process. And I said, Garrett, I want to tell you something for a moment. Your business isn't high-end coaching. Your business is your merchant accounts. It's the only way you collect money. And he kind of stopped and was really polite about it and smiled, and we went on with our conversation, but it stopped there. Fast forward 2 years later, I get a call, probably 8, 9 o'clock at night, a little panic. Greg, I do not know what to do right now. I just had a merchant account frozen. Now I have $120,000 in that merchant account. I have expenses, I have employees, I have fulfillment costs for all of those coaching students, and I do not have access to it. And not only that, I have $130,000 worth of clients that are begging to give me credit cards right now. I can't accept. What in the world am I supposed to do? And it takes us back to entrepreneurs in general. We're just very optimistic. We run forward without stopping to look. We drive a little bit faster. We drop on that hammer before we paid attention to the cop was right there. Or that yellow light, it was really not pink when you ran it. So we just push forward no matter what the problem is without paying attention to what the baseline is. And how do we run faster? We have a great baseline. So we have to look at these kinds of things. Now in his scenario, it took him 6 months to get all of that money back. Honestly, to this point, I don't even know if he was able to collect that $120,000, $130,000 worth of new sales, because it took months. But guess what? It would have taken 2 hours a month, max, to have a great conversation with this bank, to make sure that he was fulfilling all of their needs so that he could fulfill his, which was getting paid. The other spot, hell, if there was any kind of disaster recovery plan in place, which has to do with here, we would have had 2 or 3 merchant account backups. So you can definitely see in any of these outfits, let's assume that you're gonna do really quick a webinar and you have 40 people on there to watch this thing and they're all gonna spend money, and right then your servers crash. If we don't have a backup, you're not getting paid. Platform, never forget it. Step number 3. Oh, I'm getting good. Product. So product is the main product, your main service, whatever your main offering is. And now when we start diving into here, I have friends that sell all kinds of things online. well, both on and offline. And we got to pay attention to what actually it is that we're selling and what issues, if any, are we creating for those clients by selling it. Now, Bob, let's just call him Bob for right now. Really great friend, been a client of mine for years. This guy, when I met him, was selling $1 million a month of products online. All digital education, really low cost for fulfillment. And that's his main product. He had these other places lined out, and now he steps into product. So we look at it, $1 million a month, right? That's a lot of money. And then we started looking at the whole overview picture. So now it's $1 million a month, but he was spending $800,000 marketing alone. Then we step to the next stage. He has 4 business partners. He has all kinds of expense and overhead, and his net now is $60,000 a month, which you think is awesome, until you split it down between 4 people, and you look at all of the risk that he had to put in place in order to make that. So we looked at his platform, we look at promotion, we look at the rest of the pieces, and I realized, you know what? By selling this product, really great product, you're creating a problem over here. So what did we do? We found a complementary product, and this wasn't a cross-sell, it was just a complementary product, and we layered the two together, smashed them in place, and guess what happens? He actually gets paid from both products. The customer buys it. If they have that problem, they also take this product. We increased his net by 100%. He went from $60,000 to $120,000 worth of profits. Now overall, that's a little, almost a quarter or $750,000 a year in increase. Now tell me what you wouldn't do with an extra $750,000 if you were lucky to sell $1 million worth of products. Anyway, if you were lucky to sell $600,000 or to make $60,000 a month nets. I mean, that increase is gigantic, and all we had to do was make sure that our product was the right product for the customer. Sweet, let's move on. Step number 4. Let's see if I can actually do this without pulling it off the, nope, it's not gonna work. We'll just go with it. Profitability. So 4 P's so far, profitability. Now when we're talking about profitability, we start to look at what's acquisition costs. What are any cross-sells? What are any upsells? What are any additional monetization strategies that can be put in place or brought in? So another one of my clients, this guy was really successful before he came to me. This guy was somebody who did so well that he took 2 years off while he tried to look at his online businesses. And this one in particular, again, was selling some kind of online digital education. Sells his other business, makes a ton of money, sits back with his family, hangs out, but he goes 2 years without an income. 2 years is a lot of time for anybody. But he's pretty smart, so he's okay. Starting to get a little dry, starting to get really bored, wants to do something. And he starts looking at this online space. He's looking at this one business model in particular. And he watches company after company go up, spike up, crash, die, burn, dead. Another one, up, down, crash, burn, dead. And he can't figure it out. But when they pop up, they seem to be making a lot of money. But there has to be a better solution. There has to be a way to make this thing work. So we started working together. We outlined the entire business, took every single different cross-sell or monetization strategy for buyers and partials and all those kinds of things that really do take in place until we had a map or so far a plan that we could physically write down on paper and prove that it works. Now, very many people will do that. They will never take that many steps before they open a business. Absolutely required in this area. So what we did is he took about $9 grand. We took this, put it together, laid it down on paper, goes out. Takes $9,000, starts it in marketing. 6 months later, now that $9,000 he's spending about once every 2 weeks in marketing. Flash forward 6 months later, we're spending $90,000 a week in online marketing ad spend budget. Huge. Guess how we did it? Self-funded every bit of it. Started with $9 grand, rolled it, built it, followed all of our disaster recovery plans, followed the promotions, followed the platform, all of these pieces until we get here, obviously, because we're not step 5 yet, right? But we follow all of these and it just rolls. And this thing kicks out massive amounts of cash. And because of the way that it was done, he's really at almost not zero, but really low risk because it's all followed a simple plan. We outlined it correctly and we follow it to the T. And I mean to the T. There's a couple times where things have looked like they're going haywire, But because we have a plan, we know when to stop. We know when to take a step back, take a breath, step back forward into the market, and move back. But without all of these things in conjunction and working together, it's never going to work for them. Let's move. Step number 5, final step here, which actually, to me, it's by far the most important thing we've got going. Step number 5 for me is person. That's me. That's me as a being, who I am, and what can I accomplish. Or for you, you're an entrepreneur, it's what can you do. So we take a look at all of the people around us, and pretty much people are one, maybe two-dimensional people, meaning this: they make a lot of money, they're stuck way back here, they're focusing in, I just need to make cash, I just need to make cash, I could care less about anything else, until they find themselves a little overweight, 50, 60 pounds. They find themselves in shambles as a relationship. They find that they have no friends, no real deep connection with anybody, and their life's a little unhappy. All they're looking for is like, dude, my whole life was about making money. Like, I've been told my whole life that if I just did this, if I just had the right degree, if I just had the right connection, if I just did this right thing, I'd be happy. You know what? I'm not. I don't really know what I'm doing anymore. 6 months later, he snorts up all of his profit and he implodes his entire business. That's not any of our goals. Our goals is to be over here. Our goals is to end through all of this and be happy. And how do we do that? We go through capacity. We go through our relationships. We go through our body. We make sure we're healthy. We're eating right. We have balance in our lives. We have a connection with some kind of spirituality, whatever that is for you. But we pull all of these things together, and the only way I can make sure that all of these things fire at once is this whole Jumping the Gap program is to make sure that I'm big enough, strong enough, fast enough, I have enough capacity to pull off all of these. This is a lot of work. But you know what? As long as you're following a step, following a process, following a map, it's really not that hard. It just takes some commitment. Anybody can do it. Just will you? Perfect. Now we have this 35,000 foot flyover. We're in a jet plane. We're flying over whatever continent you're looking at right now, because in reality, we're on several continents as we speak. Just people watching our videos, other clients that we use. So it's a pretty cool program. But we're up here. You know a little bit about each one of these. But quickly, I'm going to review just because I covered all this stuff really fast. Number 1, we're talking about promotion. This is how and why do we get clients, and how do we market to them, and why? Who are they? Number 2, platform. We're making sure of anything that's a physical attachment. It's our customer service, it's our CRM, it's why do we respond to people and when, including getting paid physically. How do I get paid? The next, product. For the clients that we're attaching and the clients that are bringing in, do we have the right product? And do we have complementary products along the way? We never want to leave a customer hanging with an additional problem without solving it for them. Next, profitability. Are we doing the utmost that we can? Do we have all of our monetization strategies, all of things in alignment, written down, known, planned for, so that it's I buy this or I spend this and I get this in return? Without it, we're just gambling. Next, person. This is just me. This is making sure that me, or if it's you, making sure that we're completely fulfilled, that we have not only just money in our minds, we have our communities, we have our families, we have a legacy that we're trying to build, and that we're doing all of these things in conjunction so that we can keep moving forward, keep building these kind of things, keep going. I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something new. If you'd like to know more about what I'm currently up to and our current programs, head on over to awakentheking.net.